Hello, everybody. I know that it's a little late coming in, but since we are already kind of started on the Ballad of Gay Tony, but I did want to go ahead and give my review of The Lost in the Dam. This review is going to be a little bit shorter, especially than my almost 14-minute my almost 14-minute review of the original Grand Theft Auto 4 storyline. The reason is because it's virtually the same game. The only difference is the minor details and everything like that, but we'll go ahead and get into that here in just a minute. The first thing I wanted to say is that I liked this DLC a lot. Lost in the Damned is a lot of fun. But the thing is, and I want to sound as generous as I can when I say this, the Ballad of Gay Tony is better. Now, you have to understand what I mean by better. There's more details in the Ballad of Gay Tony. There's a lot more over-the-top stuff in the Ballad of Gay Tony. There's a lot more new weapons, and there's also the same amount of different differentiation in the protagonist of the storyline. The main thing, as you can tell in The Lost in the Dam, is that the protagonist this time, Johnny Klevitz, instead of Niko Bellic, he walks with a limp. If you stand still, he stands with his arms elevated out front, just a little bit in front of him. He looks like he's been in a couple accidents. Of course, there's the obvious differences in the appearance. He appears to be, right around the same height, but there were also some differences in the weapons. I've asked before what the difference was between the pipe bombs and the grenades in it. I still can't really seem to identify what the difference is. I think the pipe bombs might have a wider blast radius. But other than that, there was the street sweeper, the fully automatic shotgun, which is actually fully automatic. In the Ballad of Gay Tony, you'll see another automatic shotgun, which in real life is known as an automatic shotgun, but in the Ballad of Gay Tony, they kind of mess it up. But it just fires a little bit slower than what I would really call, I guess, fully automatic. But still, anyway, beyond all that. What I do like about The Lost and Damned, storyline-wise, is that I connect with it more because I grew up with grungy people that worked on cars and motorcycles and everything like that. They cursed, they didn't give a shit about the police, and I connect with it a lot more. It has a much more interesting storyline that I can connect with. Now, that's my personal feelings on it. The Ballad of Gay Tony is a little bit different. You'll see, especially, as you can already tell, because I've already started the walkthrough, but as you can already tell with that, much more of a nightclub sort of vibe. The lights are a lot brighter. In The Lost in the Dam, they give it a different sort of, almost like a next-gen sort of grain or filter to the camera. Everything's a lot more realistically brown. There's not a whole lot of bright colors. The classic rock the classic rock music, and the very heavily influenced classic rock soundtrack in the background, especially during the credits. There's still sometimes I'll listen to the credits just because I like listening to the music at the end. I think it's awesome. I've always had a place in my heart for classic rock. Those are pretty much the details. The gameplay is still the same. The gameplay is still Grand Theft Auto. The only differences that you might run into with the gameplay this time is that there's a couple different weapons. Martha, always bringing Martha with me. And here's the thing. You will see Martha pop up in more games. The more games that I do, if there's a sawed-off shotgun, no matter what I've named any other guns in any other walkthrough, if I decide to name any other guns, sawed-off shotguns will always be Martha, just because I like sawed-off shotguns. I think they're awesome. I think they're a great little weapon, and also they're the greatest zombie handling weapon of all time, which, I don't know, just makes it kind of badass in my own mind. But anyway, the gameplay, it is still the same as Grand Theft Auto. There's minor differences in some of the weapons because, of course, they're new. The bikes do handle a lot better. I do remember crashing a couple times while playing Lost in the Damned, especially when I was chasing the guys down the freeway and I smashed into the guardrail and went flipping. Really hard crashes, of course you're going to fly. You're going to fly, you're going to eat pavement, it's going to hurt like a bitch. But they made it a lot harder for you to fall off because they know you're going to be riding bikes a lot more. So this time, well, whenever you play Lost in the Damned, whenever you're playing as Niko, you barely bump into, a freaking stop sign, and he catapults over the handlebars, lands on his back, and, just gets seriously fucked up. In Lost in the Damned, if you smash into something, and you do happen to pop over the handlebars, you're going to have to be hitting it with some huge amount of force. And when you hit the ground, you're not going to take that much damage. That's something that I liked, is that they compensated for the fact that you're going to be riding a lot of bikes, and if they kept the same physics engine as bike-wise as they did in the original storyline, you would have been getting hurt a lot. I find a lot of respect in that. That is detail right there. That's when you look into the game, you find the fault, and you know what the problem is, and you're going to handle it. And that's exactly what they did. They made up for the fact that you're going to be riding bikes, and the bikes aren't exactly the most reliable thing to be riding in Grand Theft Auto. Couple things that I didn't like. One, it's not long enough. The Lost in the Dam should be a little bit longer. Two, the characters don't go too much into detail. I want to know more about Terrence. I want to know more about Clay. I wanted to have missions I had to do specifically with them. And three, I also didn't like, well, while I was playing, I did like it, but in hindsight, I don't really care for the feature where when you're riding in a group, your health starts going up and your bulletproof armor starts going up and everything like that. It's just, it made it feel kind of cheap. I mean, these Grand Theft Autos are supposed to be higher in realism. Now, that was the one thing that kind of differentiated from realism, is the fact that you could regain health while riding in a group of bikers. In the Ballad of Gay Tony, you'll see a lot of things that have nothing to do with realism whatsoever. I mean, it's a lot more over the top. This one was a lot more focused, I want to say. It had to do with this group. It didn't span much beyond the gang. It was whoever they talked to, whatever they dealt with, but it didn't go into enough detail with the gang. Also, one last negative aspect was seeing Congressman Stubbs' dick. That kind of scarred me mentally. I wouldn't actually say scarred. It was like somebody took mine bullets, double-up buckshot mine shot, and launched it into my face. I mean, it just it obliterated a part of my innocence that I will probably never get back. But luckily, you guys didn't have to watch that, because I learned how to blur shit out just in time. Before I had to put these videos, well, before I didn't have to put the videos on, but before I had the chance to put the videos on. So, but anyway, that's pretty much everything. It's Grand Theft Auto. I still like it a lot. I've always been a Grand Theft Auto fan. I always will be. Very minor little things I didn't care for, but overall, very pleasurable experience. But the biggest problem I have is that, well, biggest problems, not long enough, didn't go into enough detail. But overall, man, I still really like this series. And the Ballad of Gay Tony has come out, and that one is a lot of fun to play. So anyway, stay tuned. Like usual, if you want to, go onto my channel, leave me a comment, shoot me a personal message. I might just write you back. If I have the time in between writing papers and working my 9-hour shifts at Publix and whatever I can over at GameStop. But anyway, shoot me a personal message. Leave me a comment on my videos. Like my videos if you like them. Dislike them if you don't like them. Yeah, it's all of you guys, whatever. Leave comments on my profile if you want to. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you haven't already, subscribe if you like my stuff. But anyway, guys, for those of you that know me, and for those of you that have been fans, I'm up to, God, like, I can see myself hitting 400 subscribers relatively soon. So, anyway, I'm still growing. Train's still picking up speed. I'm having a really good time making videos for you guys, and I hope that you guys have a really good time sitting back, watching me, relaxing a little bit, and listening to me curse my freaking lips off until I get what I want out of a video game. So, I'm kind of immature like that. Anyway, it's time for me to get the hell out of here. I've been talking for about 9 minutes, a little over that. So, I'll be talking to you guys later. Like I said, send me any sort of message you want. Like my stuff if you like. Subscribe if you like it. And I'll be talking to you guys later. This has been Voodoo. Outro.